Vyas with New Wave Wellness Center, and in this video I'm talking about a topic that I've dealt with in the past before, but it's something that we really need to address because we see a big number of people walking into our office with a problem with their thyroid, right? Hypothyroid problems. Did you know that thyroid medications are one of the top 5 medications that are prescribed in America here? So let's address this thing, but we're going to take a different twist on it. I'm going to show you not just how the thyroid functions, but the nutrients, so the nutrition that the thyroid requires to function the way it should. All right, so let's get down into this thing. We'll give you a quick rundown of how it works. So in your brain, we have a center that produces a hormone known as TSH, which stands for thyroid stimulating hormone. Now this hormone is produced in the brain and comes down into your thyroid gland. Right from there, and then that's where we produce something called T4. Now that's about the section where most of these lab work, a lot of medical doctors kind of stop at. They'll check your levels of TSH, and maybe some will check your levels of T4 and see how well they are balanced, and if they are not, well, they'll put you on some kind of prescription medication. Well, there's other things, there are other factors that need to be addressed when we come to the thyroid. So as we'll see here, now the T4, as you see here, is in the inactive state. So when it's produced in the thyroid, it's produced in an inactive state. It needs to be activated into something called T3. Now that T3 is the one that goes into your cells and helps with every cell in the body, right? There's a receptor for thyroid in every cell in our bodies, from your hair to your eyes to your any cell that you can imagine has a receptor for thyroid hormone. So very important, and again, it is the T3 that attaches to that deal. Now that we know what's going on, if you don't measure the amounts of, say, your T3, or there's another hormone called reverse T3, I'll talk about that when there's a deficiency in certain minerals in your body will produce something called reverse T3. Now, a lot of times, most of the medical doctors do not check any of these levels, because if you check that, you will know exactly what's going on and you understand what process of the body is not working as well as it should. So let's start with this now. So as I mentioned, we talked about TSH in the brain. Your thyroid stimulating hormone requires 4 main nutrients or 4 main things to help form it. The big one is protein. You need to have adequate amount of protein in your diet to be able to produce certain hormones. Now the other one is magnesium. Now we've talked about magnesium quite a bit in a lot of my videos. Magnesium is a mineral that, again, they say a lot of people are deficient in, but it is required in all these small formations or small processes in the body. So we need magnesium, we need B12 and zinc. Now zinc is another one of those things where you don't see a lot of this in a lot of the foods we eat, but you need a lot of zinc to help produce the right kind of hormones in the body. And zinc again can be found in things like your nuts, legumes, things like that will have a little bit of zinc in it. So now that we produce TSH, we need to form T4. Now T4 is iodine based. So what your thyroid will do is it takes iodine from the food that you're supplying in the body and forms a molecule with 4 iodines attached to it, and that's why iodine is very important for your thyroid hormone. So iodine is the big one, and it also requires vitamin B2 and vitamin C. Without those, your T4 will not be formed. So if you're deficient in any of these vitamins, your T4 levels will be low. Now, what we need to do is, again, T4, as I said, is an inactive state. It does not affect any cells in your body. We need to convert it into something called T3, which is the active state. And that requires a very simple thing called selenium. When you are deficient in selenium, your body is going to do the reverse. Instead of forming the active T3, it forms something called reverse T3. Now, as I'll talk about it, reverse T3 actually competes for sites in the body. And now reverse T3 is inactive. So it's not going to do what your thyroid hormone or the T3 is going to do. So if you form too much of this with when you don't have selenium in your body and you have too much of this will compete for those receptor sites in every cell. And what happens? It blocks it, so then your T3 cannot attach to it, and you end up with all the symptoms of a thyroid condition. So that's one of the things. So we need selenium. Now, T3 has to be attached onto, the way I said, there are little receptor sites in every cell we have. It's like a lock and key mechanism. Only T3 can come and attach onto that. So when T3 comes to attach there's a few vitamins that are very essential for it. And that's your vitamin D and vitamin A. Again, we've talked about vitamin D a lot. Vitamin D is something that's considered a pro-hormone. It's certain things that without it, our body just will not function as well as it should. So vitamin D also balances your immune system. So for anybody with, say, things like Hashimoto's, which is your immune system attacking your own thyroid, an autoimmune condition, vitamin D, when you have inadequate amount of vitamin D in your body, it does not regulate your immune system, and that's when it ends up with certain problems with immune conditions. So enough vitamin D, and that's why we always suggest that people that are on any kind of have a Hashimoto's issue, that is your autoimmune issue, or any other autoimmune condition, need to have much higher levels of vitamin D in their body to help regulate their immune system. So that is the main thing. Now, once T3 attaches to this thing, this is going to start making the cell do what it's supposed to, help increase your metabolism, give you more energy. You don't have any of those symptoms of fatigue and hair loss and constipation and all those issues that people suffer from when they have a thyroid condition. So as you notice, we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's 10 nutrients that are big and required just for your thyroid to function. Now, that's just the one gland that we talked about. Just the same way, our body is what we call a bag of biochemical reactions. Now, each one of these reactions requires some of these minerals. This is just for the thyroid, but there's so many different nutrients and stuff that your body requires that if you're deficient in, your body does not function as well as it should. And that's one of the big reasons that we actually do what we call a mineral or a deficiency test in our office. Because again, as I said, if you go to a medical doctor, they'll check these levels and put you on, maybe Synthroid, or they may put you, or some people are taking this bioidentical Armor Thyroid. You will feel good for a while on those things. But again, if you don't address the root cause, as in you're not addressing the main problem, say you're deficient in any of these, what's going to happen? You may get a little relief from your symptoms, but the root cause of the problem is still there, and you'll still end up with your symptoms again. So that's why we address the root cause of this problem by checking your deficiency levels, vitamins, minerals, all those kind of things, to see exactly where your body stands. And sometimes, as I said, you could be deficient in a small thing like selenium that is not allowing your conversion of T4 into T3, and that's what will create those symptoms that you're having. Add some selenium to your body, and the process occurs, and you're back to normal. So I'm not saying everybody needs selenium, but again, that's one of the big things that your body does. It requires certain cofactors, certain minerals and stuff to help it function the way it should. And when you're deficient, it doesn't work as well as it should. So if you're interested in getting some more information on that, please call our office. We offer a free consultation on this, and we'll sit down and talk about it, and I'll show you how this deficiency testing can save you a lot of money and a lot of time, and increase your health much better with this deal. So I hope this information has helped you, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.